The date of founding of a company or even a nation can hold important implications for its future developments if we are to look at it from a Bazi perspective. I will analyze the developments of Singapore in this video to show you how it is so. The heaven is Qian and the earth is Kun according to I Ching. So we will plot the chart for a country considering it as a female gender. I have chosen the time for the founding of the modern Singapore to be of Bingzi time, given that it is at 12 a.m. on the 9th of August 1965. This hour is appropriate considering that the Bing fire, which is a metaphorical symbol of sunshine, and Zi water, which is rainwater, are beneficial elements for the Yi Wood day master of modern Singapore. The Bazi chart of Singapore is very well balanced, thus the reason why it is able to be very stable and transformed from a dirt to a first world country within such a short period of time. Looking at the chart, founded in the month of Jia Xing and year Yi Shi, with the day master Yi Wood sitting on Wei, the water element is the primary benefiting or enhancing factor for Singapore. This can be further proven if we observe the Feng Shui in Singapore, which most of the time is leveraging on the use of the water elemental energy. For instance, while the Malayan is a mascot, lion is of the metal element, and fish is of the water elemental energy. And while the lionfish is always producing water from its mouth, it is a feng shui metaphor that is auspicious for Singapore, which needed the water elements desperately for the Yi Wood day master. As I have taught in previous lessons, plants need water for nourishment and growth. Metal elements represents minerals, and having sufficient minerals in the water that provide nutrients to the Yi Wood, and together with the Bing fire at the time pillar which represents sunshine, Singapore with a daymaster of Yi Wood is able to grow healthily. However, for plants or flowers to grow beautifully, trimming is needed. And that's where the zinc metal elements in the month branch is also an important factor for the growth of Singapore. And in this chart, the metal elements is like a pair of scissors that trim Singapore into a beautiful pot of flowers. Metal in the month branch for a human represents parents, but for a nation, it actually represents control and governance, or the government of Singapore. Some other observations which show that Singapore needed the water elemental energy for positive developments are, for example, the Malayan is continuously releasing water and is situated at the Marina Bay area, which is also now the financial district of Singapore. From the original chart or Benming Pan also reflected the characteristics of the development of the population. Looking at the yearly pillar, it reveals that in the early years, people actually do care about democracy in Singapore, as the yearly branch, which is of the Shi, is the Shi Shen, which usually represents an individual's desire for freedom and independent decision making. However, we also observe that Shi combines with Xing in the month branch, which shows that due to the government's belief, only a moderate form of democracy is beneficial for Singapore's survival. This moderated or more balanced form of democracy would be the best for Singapore because if the Shi fire elements that represents democracy is too strong, Singapore, which is of the Yi Wood daymaster, would wither and be burned down, metaphorically speaking, as fire will burn down wood. During the Middle Years, which is about from the 1980s onwards, the population in Singapore is under a very strict control. Politicians of more extreme or liberated views are often suppressed or persecuted, which could have been a positive thing for Singapore, as we can see that Singapore developed mainly due to the rule of law and a strong government that has the ability to implement high degree of control. Later years or from 1990s onwards, people care more about money and may only focus on the accumulation of wealth, or Singaporeans often call the pursuit of the 5 C's, which are namely cash, car, credit card, condominium, and country club memberships. In later years, which are from 2025 onwards, the population may care more about education and the religious developments as the country is moving into the time period of Bingzi. Zi water is often a sign of spiritual development as Zi is also Kui, or in Chinese is similar to Gui, often a metaphor for religious or spiritual interest and education or academic development. Interestingly, you can see that the Chinese word 学, Zi is right at the bottom. The flow of information is also metaphorically represented by the water element. Thus, Singapore will eventually be an information and educational hub for the world. Other activities that are related to the water and wood elemental energy which will benefit Singapore include the maritime and global trades, shipping, tourism, the planting of a lot of trees in Singapore, which Singapore is known for as the Garden City, the opening of the garden by the bay with man-made gigantic trees or what they call the canopy, the new airport terminal Jewel, which has the largest man-made water fountain surrounded by plants, the casino, which is built with a shape that is similar to the Chinese character Yu, which is rain in English, with the largest infinity pool on top, together with the flyer spinning slowly nearby. In Feng Shui, is a sign that means 风调雨顺 or soothing rain with gentle wind, signifying good weather for the Yiwu Day Master of Singapore. Singapore's 4 desalination plant in Marina East also begins operations in the year 2020, and even National Day celebrations have recent years been moved to the Marina Bay area, which is an area that is positive for the future developments of Singapore. All these are signs which I assume that even the Singapore government knows will benefit Singapore from an astrological or feng shui perspective. Additionally, the education of the population, which is represented by the water elements within its BaZi chart, is a crucial factor that has contributed to the success of Singapore. In the year 2021, which is a year of Tianke Dicong, as Zi Wei is clashing with Xingqiu, relationship with Malaysia and other countries may worsen and there will be more disagreements formed, such as that related to the Kuala Lumpur-Singapore high-speed rail project may face obstacles or be cancelled. The aviation industry will continue to suffer as the heavenly stamps that represents air traffic, facing a clashing relationship with Tai Shui, conveys negative meanings for the aviation industry. There will also be more traffic accidents or breaking down of the train or SMRT service. When we look at the heavenly stamps that are of the Jia wood and Yi wood, they are as labels which enhances the Daymaster strength of Singapore, and it means that Singapore has to always rely heavily on the positive relationships with other countries for resources, security, defense, and manpower for national development. After 2004, moving into the Earth trend, it represents that Singapore will continue to have positive developments in terms of wealth. 在古书里面，就是狄天髓这个八字古书里面说，怀丁抱丙，化凤成猴。那意思是说，以日生，只要八字有丙和丁，只是生在辛月和酉月也不怕。凤就是鸡是酉，猴就是辛。Therefore, what it means is that from 1985 to 2004, Singapore was in the destiny phase of Bing Xu and Bing Hai, which are mainly of the fire elements. And like sunshine for plants, this has brought about great developments for Singapore, and she has become one of the 4 tigers in Asia. Thus, we can see that if you have a balanced chart and at the same time facing the positive destiny trends, it often means positive and smooth progress. The Geju or Bazi formation of Singapore is overall good. Nonetheless, currently Singapore is at the destiny phase of Chou, and Chou Wei Chong is often a sign of troubles and obstacles. Entering 2020, which was the start of the Chou phase, the PAP government has experienced one of the lowest vote counts in the history of Singapore election. The PAP has got a 61.2% vote share, lower than the 65% which PAP hoped for. As we all know, Singapore is still battling with the crisis COVID-19 since 2020. Given that in the year of the ox 2021, Singapore is facing 天克地冲, the first thing has occurred is the cancellation of the Kuala Lumpur-Singapore high-speed rail project. From 2025 to 2034, 跟营运, Singapore may face major changes in the leadership as the destiny phase clashes with 甲信月, which represents the government. 正官出头，古日相关见官，奇货百端。根克乙木，寅木生火，根火同时克乙木，同时引星四三行，在年月代表管理上的变动，同时甲星也跟寅相冲。Therefore, in the year 2025, which is year of the 乙巳, and 2026, which is year of the 丙午, there is an encounter of the 三官见官. In the midst of positive economic developments, there will be major changes in the leadership of Singapore. It could mean that someone in a very high authority position may experience some illness or unfortunate incidences between 2025 and 2026. Likewise, in other countries, 2025 and 2026 are also years of change. Many people may also experience problems in their lives within these 2 years, which are rather chaotic as the fire element is too strong, and also the world is entering the 9th fire universal trend, or the 离卦九运. Fire represents anger and hostility, explosions and military operations, and which are possible signs of wars. Therefore, we may have to be mentally prepared for a world that is not too stable and will be a world that is filled with hostility in the near future. This is Jason, and feel free to contact me at this WhatsApp or visit our website to find out more about our Feng Shui and astrological services. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next video.